Hey guys, this is Troy with Shoot Center.
John.
Today we're going to be talking about home defense setups, right? We brought out some guns and wanted to talk about probably the most common things we hear, especially in the shop and in classes about, hey, if someone comes into the home, what should I use? That's probably the biggest question that we get. So we brought out some things and let's kind of delve into them. Probably the most popular firearm that we hear people asking for and talking about it, I would say, is probably the shotgun, right? 12 gauge shotgun, fantastic for home defense, believe it or not. There's some downsides to it, but it's definitely a popular one. The other one that we always hear about is rifles.
Good old rifles.
Yeah, right, can't go wrong with a rifle. We always hear about pistols, and then kind of the one that's sneaking up in the world is PCCs, right? Pistol caliber carbine. So kind of let's run through and kind of the ups and downs of everything, and let's go with that. So John, why don't we talk about the PCCs first, because that's kind of the new and up and comer.
All right, so we got here SP5 from H&K with a pistol brace on it. Super lightweight, very controllable, 9mm.
So it's the same cartridge that our handgun can shoot.
Exactly, exactly. And it still has the same capacity as
a full bore rifle.
Full bore rifle.
30 rounds. It's a little bit small, a little bit lighter. Right, this is a actual pistol. It's not a rifle, right, for what that's concerned. But super short, which, you know, that could be a thing inside a house, right? Some people might have small, narrow hallways, and so that's just, there's some thought there. 9mm, super controllable in this platform. It works. They're great guns.
Right.
And the only downside that I have with this is sometimes those rifles or pistols, we'll just use rifles as the term today, might be picky with hollow points.
Some of them are.
Yeah, and so you need to probably shoot your guns and figure out what type of ammo your gun likes, and that's kind of a big deal. Probably the next thing that we always hear is probably the biggest thing, shotguns, right? A 12 gauge shotgun, obviously the shotgun itself,
just the noise.
Just the noise could be a psychological factor, and that's what a lot of people think about as well. I mean, hearing that, you know, does
something to you.
Yeah, right.
Exactly.
I mean, obviously, we don't know the thought and what other people are doing, and so maybe that might not affect them. I prefer double-aught buck, right, in my home defense guns. Double-aught buck is really good because it's 8 or 9 pellets of 9mm in one shot, which that's impressive, right? To go into like a really good defense load like the Hornady Critical Defense or the Federal Flight Control.
Flight Control,
yeah. Both these really super tight patterns up close, even at like 20 yards, we're getting really good patterns out of them. And so there's just some good options.
It also depends on actually the shotgun itself. Like you can have 10 of these lined up, 5 of them might pattern similar, the other 5 might pattern totally different. Yes. So it's good to test it out with certain ammo.
Test out different ammo,
exactly.
Yeah. And you'll see here I say that. I think ammo is always the big concern here. Now, the downside I have to shotguns, one, recoil, right? For a smaller statured person, female, it could be a little bit challenging to shoot a 12 gauge double-aught buck. And also it's a little bit big and wieldy and things like that. And then obviously the issue that I have is over-penetration.
Over-penetration, yep.
Yeah, I mean, this is gonna go through drywall into another room. Could possibly go further than that, depending on how it is. So, especially if you have other people in the home, we kinda gotta think about that. Now, one of my personal go-tos, one of my favorites, are actually rifles. I love rifles for home defense. If you don't have anybody else in the home, so why not? Right. Super controllable. I mean, 5.56, I can shoot this one-handed and shoot it very effectively. It doesn't have a whole lot of recoil.
Not at all.
It's a 22 going super fast. Now, I use the heavier grain stuff. You have like 55 grain, 62. I use like a 75 or 77.
I think mine is a 75.
Yeah, I use either a hollow point or a soft point, right? And so those are my go-tos. You can get them in all sorts of different lengths and sizes and calibers, and so there's a lot of options. Super easy to do. Now, my personal guns, I run either a red dot or a low power variable, but I've got a light, right? Having a light on the gun, I think,
is a must.
Is a must. There's options for 12 gauges to add lights. This one just doesn't have it because it doesn't come out of the safe too much. This would be one of my go-tos. Very easy to control. Really good magazine capacity, right? 30 rounds inside a magazine, and super easy. If you run out, you got another magazine, plop it right in, and that's kind of everywhere. Any downsides to a rifle, John?
Downsides to a rifle is basically if you have kids. You have kids, you won't be able to actually control them because you'll be too busy gripping the rifle.
Yep.
So 4 points of contact: hand, shoulder, cheek, support hand.
Yeah.
So that's the only downfall I see to having a rifle.
Yeah, and what are your thoughts about suppressors?
I run a suppressor on mine. To be honest with you, since I run muzzle brakes on there.
Yeah, yours are a little bit louder.
Yeah, so mine's a little bit louder, so I throw my suppressor on there because I don't want to go deaf, because it only takes one shot for you to go permanently deaf or have permanent hearing damage.
Yeah.
So for me, suppressor.
Suppressor if you can do it. I'm not a big fan of suppressors. Like on his gun, absolutely muzzle brake inside the home, that's gonna suck. For me, I use flat shotters, so it's not a big deal.
Not a big deal, right.
It's still gonna be loud. I mean, we're not gonna discredit that. But I'm one of those in the belief that if I get in a shooting, I want my neighbors to know I got in a shooting, right? It's other people to call 911, other people to get emergency services and be like, hey, I just heard gunshots in the middle of the night, right? So we gotta kind of think about that. Now, my go-to, believe it or not, is a handgun. Either a Glock or a SIG with a light on it. All my guns have weapon-mounted lights. That way, one-handed, I can control it. I can control what we're doing and things like that. But the reason being, I've got kids.
Right.
If I've got to get pushed to where my kids are and start grabbing a kid and moving with a kid, it's a lot easier with a handgun than it is a shotgun or rifle. So, you know, for me, ample capacity, 17 rounds or 18 if I top it off, or I can use an extended magazine with a Terran or whatever. So I think I got like 24 in the gun. Yeah, and that's ample. If I go through 24 rounds, that's a gunfight that I don't want to be in.
Right.
I mean, what's your personal choice, John? What's for home defense?
Well, something that's a little bit quicker for me to grab than my rifle, pistol.
Yeah.
And like I said before, light is a must on any self-defense weapon.
Yeah.
Is a must. Not only weapon mounted, but also handheld mounted. We are both running the EDC L2-T.
Yeah,
so
from Surefires, yeah.
From Surefire, yep. So very reliable, very bright. So this has the tactical mode where you can just barely press it in, about 5 lumens, I think it is.
Yeah, and then this
5
is
or
like
10
1200.
lumens, and then 1200 lumens, pushing it all the way.
Yeah.
I also have the Theorem on mine, where you can actually switchback Theorem, where you can actually hold it, if need be, hold it out to FBI technique, hold it underneath the gun, and then if need be, if you need both hands, flip it around, and then you can use your knuckle to activate it, just by squeezing it. So pretty cool little kit. I like to have around. It's always sitting on my dresser. I always carry it everywhere I go.
Yeah.
So.
And another reason why I choose the handgun, honestly, is with guns like the shotguns and rifles, especially with kids in the house, I've got to secure these guns away, so I don't have the quickest access to this. So I could throw it in like a Vault-Tec and fingerprint, hit it, go. It's gonna pop open, throw the gun in it, we're good to go. Right, it's simple, it's easy, but the gun's secured away. That way I don't have to worry about potentially kids getting hold of them, right? So that's kind of our plan, our thoughts on guns and kind of what we like to do. Guys, check part 2 out. We're gonna be going into actual home defense plans and kind of our thoughts and kind of go through some misnomers that we have, that we hear all the time. So guys, this is Troy.
John.
We'll see you on the range. Remember to subscribe for more videos. Check us out at shootcenter.com for all of our training and our online store. We'll hope to see you in class. Have a good one. See you later.